Well, I'm going to say that I just finished Bodie, and it was a little more challenging than I planned on. I got there with the rain, made the 13-mile drive kind of slow. I was being real careful. I didn't film the drive up there. Once I got into Bodie, some of the trails that I'd carefully planned on were flooded. There was still melting snow, but the town itself is gorgeous. I just didn't have the ability to do the efficient town tour that I planned on. My goal was to take the best photos possible. I'm going to be showing you those as we get through the video here. But I was trying to make poster quality photos, and I don't know if I got there. The skies were great, but it would all of a sudden start raining again, and my Sigma Art lens is not waterproof, and it rained pretty hard for a few moments. Eventually, the sun came out, and it warmed up just a little bit, but the wind was still blowing. So I have both cloudy, stark skies, which is great for photography, but then I also have the blue skies with a little more warmth. It's better for the photographer. When it was time to leave, as I've already mentioned, or I will mention in the real video, is I had to be out of there by 4 p.m. And so I'm leaving early, trying to get to Bridgeport and Twin Lakes. That's a beautiful drive. There's a fresh coating of snow on the mountains off in the distance. I'm actually took this panorama, real quick one, just pulled over on the road. You can see the water puddles, but you can also see the snow. But boy, was it cold when it was raining. Over 8,300 foot in elevation with the wind blowing, and it was cold. Low 40s or something like that. I really didn't have a way of checking. But when the sun came out, it was still probably high 40s, low 50s. But if you were blocked from the wind, it wasn't so bad. In my last video, I went up to the intersection of Highway 6 and 120, went up to an overlook that I saw when I first came down Highway 6 to take a picture of the beautiful morning with the rain and the fog. Caught some morning light, came back through a lot of rain showers on 120. I was going to go to one of those secret places that I mentioned in a previous video, Bodie, California. Bodie is a ghost town. It's been a state historical landmark since 1962, and they advertise that the town's kept in a state of arrested decay. It's kind of cool because you can look in the windows and see the ways things were maybe a century ago. Really well-preserved ghost town. But I want to warn you about the curse of Bodie. The curse is if you pick up anything, artifact, stone, or anything and bring it back with you, there's a curse upon you. I just decided that I wasn't going to pick up anything that didn't belong to me anyway. The biggest disappointment was the time. For photography, morning light and evening light, we call that the golden hour, is the best time of the day. I really had planned to get some beautiful evening shots with the sun setting over the Sierras in the distance. Unfortunately, you have to be out of the town by 4 p.m. at the time that I visited. So the gates opened at 9 a.m. You had to be out by 4 p.m., so no golden hour for me. And that turned out to be a problem in our next video site, where, again, I had to be out. The drive to Bodie from 395 is a very long, twisty, slow, in my case, rain-soaked and muddy drive. There was a lot of water over the road in a few areas. There were a lot of 10-mile-an-hour corners, and it was worth it when I got there. But 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., so no golden hour shots for me, but I had clouds and some interesting light. Very interesting, target-rich environment for a photographer. I consider it well worth visiting. Just be advised to the short hours. After Memorial Day, typically, they go to longer hours. The park will stay open to 6 p.m., but there can also be a longer line to get into the park. In my case, no evening light because of the 4 p.m. time that you had to be out. I asked the park officials, hey, do you have a time where I can stay later to get my evening photos? They have one day a month. It is open later. I don't know what that is. But in my case, I just came 1,600 miles, and you only have one day a month. So it is a beautiful town. I'm going to be showing you these photos, and it's well worth visiting. Just be advised that you're going to be there probably during the middle of the day if you get there in their non-summer hours. Please check the website for the state of California for Bodie. There's also information on Bodie.com for more info. The town has kind of a somber mood for me. By 1915, it was already abandoned and was a ghost town. There were just a few people left living there. So it's the largest ghost town in the United States, probably one of the best preserved. And it was infamous for murders and the red light district. So not something that was for a God-fearing man probably to go to, but it has a very interesting history and well worth a photographer's time, because just of all the antique equipment, the framing of the shots you can get, the elevation is very, very harsh, and it's high altitude. It's 8,379 feet. And one of the reasons people didn't stay is in the wintertime, the winds blow, and it's almost like Siberia. It's a high, cold, hostile place. It's got a flavor and a tone. I'll try to be capturing that in these photos that I'm showing you. I tried and I planned to absolutely maximize my time there. Wasn't disappointed. I just wish I could have had some evening light.